evening to today, because I'm going to expand on that short, because, you know, some people were upset by that bit of Lilithan philosophy about how Lilith pushes you to pursue your desires. Let's explain what desires are and, you know, what forbidden fruit is from the Lilithan perspective with absinthe, the drink of the divine, because it is Friday night and I did just get home from work. And while I could be elsewhere, there's, you know, nothing really that interesting for me to be doing right now. And I do have to go to work again tomorrow, sadly. And I really should, for the sake of my aging modeling career, go to the gym in the morning. And if I were to venture out, you know, to see people I already know, people that I'm not interested in that way, could make it tough to get to the gym and tough to make it through a day of work, and that's already tough enough. So on to my topic. Desires can be many things. Obviously, since we're, you know, talking about Lilith, it would be carnal desires. Desires like love and lust, which can be intertwined. Especially if you're demisexual, you can't have one without the other. No, you can't. But for some people, obviously, they can be separated. Most people, but some would say normal people. Why is that forbidden fruit? Well, it can be for any number of reasons. Can be, because this is a narcissism channel, mostly, kinda, hence the name of it. It can be someone who's drawn to someone else, but they're in a relationship with a narcissist and they feel that they're not allowed to move on because, you know, a narcissist will destroy your free will and try to force you down the path that they want you down, like, you know, working a stupid job like golf course maintenance instead of being a firefighter. Right, Mom? I don't hear nothing coming from down below. But, you know, that was my case. But narcissists also make you feel stuck, make you think that your status quo that they created, the status quo that benefits them, is the best you can ever hope for. I know I can't say that enough. Challenge the status quo, which Lilith is all about. So that can be your desire. Your desire can be for that of free will. The forbidden fruit can simply be what you believe to be forbidden, which isn't actually forbidden, which is executing your free will, which is thus, you know, pursuing whatever the hell you want to pursue, be it a person or a career that the narcissist has said, no, you can't do that because I said so, and you exist to serve me, you're a reflection on me. If you were raised by a narcissistic parent, you've heard that more than a few times. Or if you're in a romantic relationship with a narcissist, you probably heard I'm the best thing that's ever happened to you, and you're nothing without me, and, you know, you're so lucky I chose you. Yeah. Don't you know who I am? Some of them even say that when you're wailing on them. Like as if that's gonna scare me. It's like, in Greater Philly, unless you know, if you're saying, don't you know who I am, unless that's followed by the last name Merlino, I'm probably not gonna care. And if it is, well, then my life expectancy went down real fast. Nah. Rarely do I get called for, you know, not many of my fellow Mediterranean descendants. It's usually waspy guys. Waspy. Oh, so entitled and so waspy. But that can be a forbidden fruit. Simply being the person you truly are, seeking what you truly want instead of the path that's chosen for you. Shouldn't be forbidden, but it is transcendent to obtain what you were told was forbidden, which you can never have. You know, that brief time where I had that firefighter badge, pretty badass, despite the pandemic at the time. As you all know, well, not all of you, but if you're familiar with my channel, 3 things I want in life, 3 big things, pretty simple. 1, the most important, unconditional love, very elusive. It's like finding a blue rose that lurks at the bottom of Atlantis. I know. Probably have a better chance of finding Atlantis. It's a recurring joke. 2, a job that has a decent pay, i.e. I can live a middle-class life without living paycheck to paycheck, and gives me, you know, a sense of fulfillment as if I'm doing something to make the world a better place. Being a firefighter did that and sated my adrenaline needs and my hero complex all at once. And I worked 2 24-hour shifts a week. Badass schedule. It had it all, which, you know, 2 24s for plenty of time to spoil said, you know, female that I would eventually find unconditional love with, hopefully. Amelia Clark won't return my calls. Kidding. Probably. But I digress from my jokes. Where was I? Oh, yeah. And you know, also, if I had a little baby, you know, 4 days off a week, I could be the one to take care of the baby, because I like babies. And they like me even more. All babies, even strangers' babies. You should see it. It freaks people out in a good way. And 3, you know, I wanted to live in a progressive area, like in a city or real near one, you know, where you can walk to things and there's cultural things to do. A couple years ago, when I lived in Arlington, Virginia as a firefighter, I had 2 of the 3. And, you know, the number 1, I really didn't have opportunity to pursue it because, you know, pandemic and all kind of put a damper on that for everybody, unless you already had it. Oh, timing, my enemy, my enemy, my enemy, my enemy. Time, why you punish me, in the words of Hootie and the Blowfish. So, I know my explanations are long-winded, but I want to remove any doubt of error. You know, forbidden fruit doesn't have to be something taboo. It can simply be what you truly want, what you said you couldn't have. Just like the apple in the garden. It is forbidden fruit. Why? Because I said so. Who the hell are you to say so? Who are you to deny my transcendence, to deny my empowerment, you know, and seeking my own path? That's what Lilith would say. There's nothing inherently evil about walking one's own path or wanting to transcend some meaningful life, some meaningless status quo that gives you no enjoyment, no hope of ever getting better, but you're just supposed to accept it and be like, well, it's not that bad, things ebb and flow, and it is what it is. That's what castrated sheep say. That's what castrated sheep say. Dragons spread their wings and they're like, well, I guess I gotta go fly off into the unknown. There's gotta be something out there anywhere but here. The doubt and the fear will all disappear anywhere but here. Double Agent by Rush. Great song. Written by the late, great Neil Peart. Also a Sigma INFJ, by the way. So, that is what I mean. You know, you should pursue your desires. You know, not, like I said, not taboo, illegal ones, but what you truly desire to be, or the person you truly desire to be with, you know, assuming you can find someone who embodies those traits. You shouldn't settle, you know, Lilithian philosophy says you shouldn't settle for the status quo simply because that's what's been thrust upon you, what you've been told to accept, or what was simply, you know, in the right place at the right time. Look at it from a job perspective. You shouldn't stick with a job you don't like, that doesn't pay that great, that you don't enjoy, you get nothing out of, simply because that is what was, you know, your best option at one time. Perhaps what you truly wanted, what you truly worked for, and what you truly desired was not possible at that time. Like me, came of age during the Great Recession, hiring freezes everywhere in fire departments. It's how I ended up in golf course management, because that was available at the time. Quite limited at that time. So you know, according to my narcissistic family, you must stick with that because that is what you do. That is what they say. Who the fuck are they? They say. Who are they? What power do they have? Who gave them that power? What do they have that I want? And why do I care what their opinions are? Blasphemy talk. Status quo good by nature of being status quo. No. That's the stuff I'm getting at in this philosophy. No, if there comes a time, if you are in a situation that you don't like, or that perhaps was maybe tolerable, I have been drinking, tolerable, or that you were convinced was tolerable at one time, or perhaps you never really knew what happiness was and you were told this is good, you should want this is good, it's like, this ain't good no matter how many times you tell me it is. It's not. It's not. It's all lies. Again, but enough about my time living and working at Aronimik Golf Club. Oh, but the name, it's so prestigious. Vafanopoli, don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. Lies. Lies. Lipstick on a pig. So, stuff like that. And, again, if you're in that situation, it'll continue to deteriorate, just like a relationship with a narcissist. Always keeps going down. Sometimes it'll level off and not get any worse for a little bit, but it never goes this way. At least not really. You might be fooled into thinking that it is briefly. They can't keep that lie up. Same with a bad job. What I'm saying is the forbidden fruit, the opportunity to pursue what you truly want, what you truly think can make you happy or fulfilled or enlightened or successful, comes along, you should take it. No matter how long you've been stuck in the status quo. Remember, you're not happy. Status quo ain't good just by virtue of being the status quo. And Lilith says you shouldn't be afraid to change or to go into the unknown, like she wandered in exile in the desert completely alone instead of being a slave girl in paradise. So freedom in the unknown, not knowing what's out there, but, you know, hopefully, hey, unknown's big, there's got to be something out there, or absolute misery and subservience in paradise. Well, who defines what paradise is? Who gets to say what paradise is? It's subjective. It's stuff like that. That's the point I'm getting at. And if what you deem to be what you truly want comes along, you have to, Lilith says you have to take that chance regardless of the cost. Because chances are, especially the older you get, and this is something you youngins, you know, teenagers and college age kids don't get, I didn't get it at that age, is if there's truly something like that is calling to you, be it a job, be it a person, and the timing isn't right, you know, it's like, oh, well, it's not a good time for change. You have to take that chance, because that job or that person or someone like that, you'll find out the older you get, those opportunities are few and far between. And as I said, it never comes at the opportune time. That's kind of like the double-edged sword of it, is what you truly want and truly desire, and perhaps what you thought you could never have, the opportunity when it comes along, it's never going to be really at a good time. It's like, oh, this is my shot, I got to take it kind of thing. That's how, you know, when I got hired as a firefighter, it was like right after my dad died and stuff, but it was, you know, it was the opportune time. It was, I had to somehow put in the work and go to all those tests and make all that happen while working 2 jobs. It was not a good time, but the opportunity was there, and the opportunity was there in a real way for the first time since the recession, and I had to take it, you know. Now what happened, but I couldn't foresee that at the time, obviously. It's the same in many other aspects where it's like, oh, this is something that, like, I'm drawn to. Like, it's hard to explain. But like I said, job, person, can be many things. If you feel that pull towards something and that want to change, but you're backing off because it's like, well, now it's not just the right time. No, you take that chance, because you will regret not doing it. Because the status quo that you're saying, well, it's not a good time to walk away from this, it's going to get worse. And trust me, regret haunts you. Haunts me all the time. And you can't outrun it. You know, the idea of the past, forever locked in regret. But what if the past could be changed? Yeah, things like that will ponder and put you in NITI loops if you're an INFJ. But it'll haunt you regardless of your personality type. So remember that. Remember that when you feel that pull. Listen to the philosophy of Lilith. To take a bite of the forbidden fruit and learn to transcend. Or be a castrated sheep.